Welcome to Modi Briefing. The content of the briefing includes: India's Glitzy cricket contest is entering the big leagues. Terror probe, tax raids, journalists see efforts to silence dissent in India. Indian opposition calls for Adani Group probe over coal price allegations. India's Modi declares goal to land human on moon by 2040. In manifesto, Congress party promises Indian state a cricket franchise. India's Glitzy cricket contest is entering the big leagues. Bloomberg. The Indian Premier League, IPL, has become one of the world's most lucrative sports competitions, with bidders paying a total of $6.2 billion for the right to broadcast the games through 2027. The IPL combines American-style marketing, Bollywood glitz, and the energy of India's vast population. The league has turned cricket, a sport that was once a financial laggard, into a corporate juggernaut. The IPL has been successful in attracting millions of viewers and has inspired copycat tournaments in other countries, including the US. However, the league has been marred by corruption scandals and allegations of bid rigging, tax evasion, and insider deals. The IPL's success can be attributed to its adoption of the 2020, or T20, format, which is a simplified version of the traditional 5-day matches. The T20 format is shorter, lasting 3 to 4 hours, and encourages big, risky swings and frequent sixes, which are cricket's equivalent of a home run. The IPL has also added charismatic announcers, NFL-style team names, and cheerleaders, appealing to a wider audience. Despite the corruption scandals, the IPL remains popular in India, where cricket inspires intense devotion. The IPL has expanded rapidly and has attracted significant investments. In recent years, the league has faced scrutiny and criticism for its monopolistic control over global cricket. However, the IPL's backers argue that the league's success reflects India's growing financial and geopolitical weight. With a growing middle class and a massive fan base, the IPL is likely to continue its dominance in the cricketing world. Terror probe, tax raids, journalists see efforts to silence dissent in India. Wall Street Journal. Indian authorities are facing criticism for alleged efforts to silence journalists and restrict freedom of speech. Police recently conducted searches and interrogations of journalists associated with the news website NewsClick, which has been critical of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's government. The site's founder and human resources manager have been arrested and are in custody. The investigation is part of a broader trend of targeting dissenting voices in India, including tax raids on media outlets such as the BBC and Hindi-language newspaper Dainik Bhaskar. Critics argue that the government's actions are intended to stifle criticism ahead of state and national elections. Indian opposition calls for Adani Group probe over coal price allegations. Financial Times. India's opposition party, the Indian National Congress, has called for an investigation into the Adani Group following allegations that it inflated the cost of imported coal. The Financial Times reported that customs records showed the conglomerate used offshore intermediaries to import billions of dollars worth of coal at prices sometimes more than double market rates. Adani has previously faced accusations of inflating coal costs, leading to higher electricity prices for consumers. The group denied the allegations and accused foreign entities of attacking the company to manipulate its market value. India's Modi declares goal to land human on moon by 2040. The Independent. India's Prime Minister, Narendra Modi, has directed the country's space agency to aim to send the first Indian to the moon by 2040. He also instructed the agency to set up an indigenous space station by 2035. The meeting also assessed the progress of India's planned crewed orbital launch to space as part of its Gaganyaan mission in 2025. The government is planning around 20 major tests for the mission in the coming months. Modi also called for further missions to other planets in the solar system, including a Venus orbiter mission and a Mars lander. In manifesto, Congress party promises Indian state a cricket franchise. Reuters. India's Congress party has promised to bring an Indian Premier League, IPL, cricket franchise to the central state of Madhya Pradesh if it is elected. The Congress party released its election manifesto on Tuesday, ahead of regional elections next month. The IPL, which has an estimated brand value of $8.4 billion, is immensely popular in India and currently has 10 teams from across the country. Madhya Pradesh, one of the most populous states in India, does not have a team. The Board of Control for Cricket in India, BCCI, has stated that it currently has no plans to add more teams to the IPL. Hello, everyone. I am Dr. Six, your resident observer from the 6 Degrees world. Today, I bring you some fascinating news from India. First up, we have the Indian Premier League, IPL, a glitzy cricket contest that has become one of the world's most lucrative sports competitions. With bidders paying a whopping $6.2 billion for broadcasting rights, the IPL has turned cricket into a corporate juggernaut. Combining American-style marketing, Bollywood glam, and the energy of India's vast population, the league has attracted millions of viewers and even inspired copycat tournaments in other countries. However, it hasn't been all smooth sailing, as the IPL has been marred by corruption scandals and allegations of bid rigging and tax evasion. What sets the IPL apart is its adoption of the 2020, or T20, format, which is a shorter and more fast-paced version of traditional cricket. With matches lasting only 3 to 4 hours, the IPL appeals to a wider audience. Add charismatic announcers, NFL-style team names, and cheerleaders, and you've got a recipe for success. Despite the controversies, the IPL remains immensely popular in India, where cricket inspires intense devotion. Moving on to a different topic, Indian authorities are facing criticism for allegedly trying to silence journalists and restrict freedom of speech. Recent searches and interrogations targeting journalists associated with NewsClick, a news website critical of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's government, have raised concerns. The investigation, along with tax raids on media outlets, is seen as an attempt to stifle criticism ahead of upcoming elections. Freedom of expression is a vital pillar of any democracy, and it's crucial to protect the rights of journalists. In other news, the Adani Group, a major conglomerate in India, is facing calls for an investigation into allegations of inflating the cost of imported coal. The Indian National Congress, the opposition party, has demanded action following reports that Adani used offshore intermediaries to import coal at prices significantly higher than market rates. These allegations have serious implications, as they could lead to higher electricity prices for consumers. Adani has denied the accusations, claiming that foreign entities are attacking the company to manipulate its market value. Shifting gears, let's talk about space exploration. India's Prime Minister, Narendra Modi, has set an ambitious goal for the country's space agency, to send the first Indian to the moon by 2040. He also plans to establish an indigenous space station by 2035. This announcement comes as India prepares for its Gaganyaan mission in 2025, a crewed orbital launch. Modi also envisions further missions to other planets in the solar system, including a Venus orbiter mission and a Mars lander. Talk about aiming for the stars. Lastly, we have a promise from the Congress Party in India's election manifesto. If elected, they plan to bring an IPL cricket franchise to the central state of Madhya Pradesh. The IPL, with its massive brand value, is immensely popular in India, and Madhya Pradesh, being one of the most populous states, currently lacks a team. While the Board of Control for Cricket in India has no immediate plans to add more teams, the Congress Party's promise shows the significance of cricket in Indian politics. So, there you have it, a glimpse into some of the latest news from India. The IPL's glitz and corruption scandals, journalists facing pressure, allegations against the Adani Group, India's ambitious space goals, and even cricket making its way into election manifestos. It's quite a mix, isn't it? Now, I'd love to hear your thoughts on these stories. What do you make of the IPL's rise and controversies? Are you concerned about the state of press freedom in India? And what about India's space ambitions? Do you think they'll reach the moon by 2040? Share your ideas and questions, and let's dive into some lively discussions. Remember, in the world of 6 degrees, there's always something intriguing happening. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.